This is your GUM lesson, Unit 5, Lesson 1, Independent and Subordinate Clauses. Alright, independent and subordinate clauses. First we need to know that a clause is a group of words that have a subject and a verb. This is different from a phrase, which is a group of words that modify or help explain. It does not have a subject and verb. Alright, so here's an example. A phrase, we will eat after lessons. Alright, so after lessons is the phrase that is modifying when we will eat. This does not have a subject and a verb. A clause, we will eat after we finish our lessons. So we finish has the subject and the verb. There are two kinds of clauses. An independent clause, also known as a main clause. It can stand alone as a sentence because it expresses a complete idea. So independent can stand by itself. When an independent clause stands by itself, it is called a sentence. It only becomes an independent clause when it appears in a sentence with another clause. So here's an example. Sarah looked for shells, but the tide came in. So here it has two clauses. Each one has a subject and a verb. Sarah looked for shells, the tide came in, the tide came. So each of those could technically stand by themselves. That's what makes them independent. Since these two clauses are independent clauses, they both could stand alone in a single sentence. So Sarah looked for shells, the tide came in. The second type of clause is the subordinate clause, also known as dependent clause. It cannot stand alone as a sentence because it does not express a complete thought. Notice that the subordinate clauses in the following examples do not express a complete thought, even though they both have a subject and a verb. So after we swam, that is a subordinate clause because of the word after. After we swam, we did what? Okay, so it's kind of looking for more. We ate a huge lunch. That is independent because it can be by itself. We ate a huge lunch can be a sentence. We and ate is our subject and our verb. Another example, I just had the salad that my mother prepared. So there's two clauses. I just had the salad is independent because it could stand by itself. That my mother prepared is not independent. That my mother prepared cannot be its own sentence. That's why it is subordinate. Alright, so we're going to practice a little bit from L248. This is from your English handbook. Label each underlined clause I for independent or S for subordinate. So number 1, if the sky is dark and cloudy, you should bring an umbrella. So if the sky is dark and cloudy, can that stand by itself? No. That is a subordinate clause. It would need more information. Unless you call first, I will leave for the beach at noon. Unless you call first. Can that stand by itself? No, that is also a subordinate clause. I like this beach because it is almost never crowded. I like this beach. Can that stand by itself? Yes, that is an independent clause. Since the tide is in, the water is high. Can the water is high stand by itself? Yes, that is independent. We will eat when Terry and Yolanda finally get here. When Terry and Yolanda finally get here, can that stand by itself? No, that is a subordinate clause. We will eat can stand by itself. Alright, there's more practice available on Study Island. So you can go to under the AZ programs, go to 7th grade, ELA, and then go to phrases and clauses to get more help. Now it's your turn. Finish the activity on page L248. Don't forget to complete your OLS assessment. If you need any help, see your teacher during open office hours.